Welcome back. You're watching News Center. The US president is likely to host a dinner for Prime Minister Modi on the 12th of February. Sources have said that the two leaders will have a bilateral and delegation-level meeting. A trade agreement is also likely to be on the anvil. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also meet a select group of American CEOs, including tech billionaire Elon Musk, during his visit. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that the Tesla CEO is likely to seek a level playing field to sell cars in India. Musk would also ask for early approvals for Starlink to operate in India. Former Foreign Secretaries Shashank and Kanwal Sibal are still with us on the program. Ambassador Shashank, what do you think will be the Prime Minister's big message? We've already said that we would take back all illegal Indians in the US if their identities are clarified. But in terms of trade, in terms of defense, what would we like to achieve from this visit?
Well, we have the agreement on critical technologies and emerging technologies. At the same time, we find that there are a lot of delays which have been taking place in the supply of engines for our Tejas aircraft. That puts into jeopardy all the preparation that we have to make for our own aircraft and other equipment. Therefore, that would be another issue. And in the past also, we have been discussing with the Americans that when we want to buy any defense equipment from them, we would also prefer to have upgradation and transfer of technology to the extent possible. Of course, they would have their own reciprocal requirements. So we'll have to keep that in mind, how best it is achieved. That's about the defense. As far as trade is concerned, we found out that some time ago when under some policies, the Americans cut out India's name from the GSP, their General System of Preferences, and the duty-free import of handicrafts and handlooms. Prime Minister would like that most of our items which are exported to Americans are not the very highest quality, unlike the Chinese, but they are the items which are needed by Americans into their own production processes or for their own households. So therefore, we have to see that those items are allowed duty-free as far as possible, and we can sign some kind of duty-free reciprocal agreements with them. Second is that, yes, there are certain items which we don't want to buy, and there are heavy duties because there is a responsibility on the Indian government not to encourage consumption of those items which are not really required for our people. So therefore, we can try to reduce the duties on those items if the Americans are very keen that we should buy Harley Davidson, etc. So I think there is a kind of reciprocal thing which we need to follow. Third one is that most of the tariffs are these days imported are put on a uniform basis. There is no singling out. If there is a singling out of a country, then naturally there is a pressure on that country also to reciprocate. We would not like to enter that track with Americans.
All right. Let me put my final question to Ambassador Sibal now. Ambassador Sibal, where do you think India is going to come under pressure? Will it be cars? Will it be pharmaceuticals? Will it be buying more security equipment? Where is that tariff pressure going to come in? The sense that we get is that there cannot be any trade agreement or any kind of major deal, but this visit will send a roadmap of what we want to achieve, at least by the Trump visit to India this year.
Well, during his first presidency, there were pretty intensive discussions on a number of items which they wanted to sell in India and wanted us to reduce tariffs on them, whether they were agricultural products and IT products, medical devices, and things like that. We engaged them in serious negotiations, but my understanding is that initially there were, let's say, 5 items, and then when we agreed that we will lower duties on those 5 items, then they added more items to the list. And when we were willing to look at that, then they added more items again. So this process went on because we had Mr. Lighthizer, the USTR at the other end, who is an extremely tough person when it comes to these issues and a great believer in tariffs. And so is the new US TR and the Treasury Secretary and Trump himself, who is a great believer in tariff wars and is using that now as a weapon against so many countries, even against his allies like Canada and Mexico, and he slapped 10% tariffs on China. He's not actually taken a decision on raising tariffs against India as yet. But
Right.
even in the conversation Prime Minister had with him, uh, he made his views known that India has very high tariff walls and India should buy more security equipment from the United States. So he's clearly made his agenda known. And these are the issues that he's going to raise with us. Now, we've already placed an order just before he took over office for these MQB, what is $5 billion worth of armed drones from the United States. There are a couple of other items like this Striker, Striker,
Right.
whatever it is, a vehicle, a military vehicle, and these Javelin missiles, anti-tank missiles. These are the issues which are already on the table, and this is something that he will try
Right.
to put. But we cannot make this visit as some kind of a defense kind of relating to buying and selling defense. I mean, this is not the purpose of this visit.
Correct.
It can come out of the.
We've run out of time.
No, it can come out of the relationship as the relationship progresses and there is more confidence and trust. As was rightly pointed out,
Okay.
the program has been delayed enormously by the delay in supplies of the GE 404 engines, and there's no movement on 414 engines. And then finally, a couple of things which is important. We want joint development and joint production in India as part of Atmanirbharta. United States under Trump wants everything to be manufactured in the United States. So there is a bit of a, let's say, a clash in perspectives of
All
how
right.
we...
Ambassador Sibal, I'm unfortunately completely out of time. I'll have to leave it there. But thank you so much to you and Ambassador Shashank for joining us on the program, giving us your views on the issue of illegal migration into the United States and also the big Prime Minister's visit to the US next week. That's all we have time for. Goodbye.